Welcome to Board Game Animal. My name is Justin. Not too long ago, we had the opportunity to review both Iliad and Icor, the first two in Bitewing's two-player Mythos collection. And keeping that pace going, today we're looking at games number 3 and 4, Moytura and Azure. As we look at these, please note that the prototype copies that you're going to be seeing in a lot of these images are definitely going to vary from the final product or even the images you're going to see on the crowdfunding page. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right to it. Imagine you love massive area control games in the ilk of Blood Rage or Ankh, but in one perfectly tuned for two players, compact package with the most aura-filled art you could ask for. That's Moytura. In Moytura, you're exploring the mythology of ancient Ireland. The two players are controlling two competing factions alongside three enemy clans working against you. The dynamic of Moytura is interesting in that this is a two-player competitive experience. However, you both have a common enemy. The rival clans share points together, essentially making one powerful common enemy competing for the same area control the two players are. The game is played across two eras, and points are earned by having the most influence across ancient Ireland at the end of each era. After two eras, there will be one winner. It could be one of the two players, but it could also be the game, in the form of the collective enemy clans having obtained more points. Each round, the two players take turns, followed by the enemy. On their turns, players and the game are always going to expand in one way or another. The players get to select a deity tile, maybe paying its cost, and then performing its actions. This works for some incredible variety in gameplay, as you fire off the special abilities, upgrade them, and try to influence before the enemies get to on their turn. On the enemy's turn, an activation card is revealed from their deck that expands one of the three clans. And there's an element of counting cards and planning ahead as you're keeping track of which enemies have already gone and whether their more dangerous moves or their weaker moves are due to show up next. The game plays really simply: player turn, enemy turn, rinse and repeat, and yet has wild levels of depth and variety in a game where ultimately each person is only going to be taking 10 turns the whole game. Additionally, you have numerous map setups, three special enemy clans that are plug and play with the regular clans that offer a bit of a more daunting challenge. Not to mention the Magmel expansion that adds even more uniquely powerful enemies and a new ability for you to take advantage of. So, a moving market of special upgradable abilities, numerous plug and play enemies, multiple setup options, all for a game that already feels unique as a semi-co-op but ultimately competitive two-player experience. It feels like everything and the kitchen sink. Without being an iota too much, it feels just right. In Azure, you're invoking the power of the four auspicious beasts, in a classic abstract strategy game that really feels like it was just ripped right out of history. You're going to place stones to gain more cards and victory points, and in doing so, you will bring the aforementioned beasts into alliance with you. The first player to earn enough points to reach the end of the Path of Wisdom is the winner. The flow of this game is super smooth as you place a stone by satisfying the cost of the space, gather the benefits from the space, and gaining the favor of the auspicious beasts. But the management of your cards to satisfy the cost to place a stone is reduced by the bonds provided by your other stones. So in a classic satisfying abstract fashion, each of your stones that are horizontally or vertically in line with the space you're trying to place a stone on discounts what you must spend to place there. This makes for some excellent cascading decision making, as each turn you're not only getting ahead in the moment, but also setting yourself up for big swings in the future. Every placement counts, especially when, in so doing, you also are gaining the benefit of the beast's favor in any given zone. A common trait that continues to pop up with these games, from Iliad to Icor to Moytura and now Azure, is the ridiculous variability in setup options. Because the four boards used to play on are double-sided and can be oriented in any way in the 2x2 grid. So this, coupled with the additional modules that the game comes with, results in over 24,000 possible different layouts. Absolutely ridiculous levels of variation in this game setup. Azure is a standout abstract strategy game that looks regal and classy, but with remarkable levels of replayability and nuance that shows the beauty isn't just skin deep. The elegance in the play of this game, coupled with the charm of the theming, really give this one a sense of grace. Perhaps foolishly at this point, I continue to be startled by Bitewing's ability to bring games to the hobby. Gazebo, Iliad, etc., and now with Azure, that feel like classic old world masterpieces that have been long hidden and resurrected now. Overall, I wanted this to be a preview of strictly the informative perspective, and not really going into the specific details of my opinions or review on these games. However, on a personal note, I really can't talk about these games without addressing how beautiful they look. Azure's work by Kwanchai Moria is beautiful as always. And on a very personal opinion sort of note, I think Harry Conway's artwork on Moytura is some of the most striking, tremendous work I've seen in years in this hobby. Really bafflingly good stuff. And this may be silly, but across the board, something I super appreciate is, and this is totally a me thing, but I love seeing the games on the shelf next to each other lined up numerically. It's a beautiful, satisfying thing. I'm the kind of person who loves series of things. Look at how great they look next to each other. But again, this series isn't just a pretty face. These are games with depths of personality. So don't fall behind and miss out on two games that are surely going to be modern classics in the two-player board game space. So please, please, please check out the Kickstarter from Bitewing Games going live today. The link is down below. A huge thanks, as always, to Bitewing for letting us be a part of this process. We're so happy to talk about these two incredible games and look forward to seeing what your thoughts are on them down the road. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing, and don't forget to always play board games like an animal. Maybe like an auspicious beast.